Hello, hello. My glasses don't seem dirty all day till I get on live. And then it's like, I can't see, even though I've used them all day. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. If you're new here, hello, hello. So I know I wasn't scheduled to be on tonight, but my guide's like, you're going to go on tonight. So here I am. I just do what I'm told. So if you're new here and you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. I'm running a little late, so let me get my glasses clean and we'll get going. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. All right, let's see if I got him this time. Okay, not bad. I can read comments. That's the point. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Hopefully some people will come on in. So if you're new here, tell me who you are, where you're from. If you're not familiar, my name is Renee. Welcome. So I started my TikTok in March of 2024. The reason why I started my TikTok is because in September of 2023, my husband unalived himself. And so if you're not familiar with my story, my husband and I were together for 32 years, never apart more than 2 weeks in those 32 years. And so when my husband decided to unalive himself, my entire world of 32 years crumbled. That's when I discovered that I had abilities to talk to my guides and discovered that I had other abilities. And sorry, I'm putting my hair up in my thing. It's tickling my neck, my back of my neck. And so if you're new here, tell me who you are, where you're from. Like I just said, my name is Renee. Welcome. And so, like I said, we were never apart more than 2 weeks in those 32 years. And when he decided to unalive himself, my entire world crumbled. I discovered that I had abilities to talk to my guides. Erica from South Dakota. What part of South Dakota? I lived in South Dakota for over 20 years. Thank you for the likes, Jessica. I appreciate that so very much. And so I only have 2 rules on my page. The first one is I just ask that you always be kind. And then the second one is we talk absolutely no politics here. It's just not at all what my page is about. And I always like to say I'm on my journey of life where I am and you're on your journey of life where you are. And none of us are going to agree on everything. So we agree to disagree here. And so since I learned that I had abilities to talk to my guides, they slowly breadcrumb me to my purpose, which is to help other people with loss. And so when I get on a live, generally, not all the time, sometimes I get on just to talk, but generally when I get on here, I have a topic. Hi, Renee. Sorry you had to go through the pain of losing your partner. Thank you. I appreciate that. But I know now, everything, I believe everything in life happens for a reason. And now I know why I went through what I went through, everything in my life, really. But I do appreciate that. Thank you. So tonight we're talking about understanding your purpose. Know that on my page depends on you guys talking to me. I don't always get your comments. Sometimes TikTok likes to hide them. So if I don't read it, more than likely I didn't see it. I didn't get it. But know that we're not shy here, so you're never interrupting me. My page is your page. And so if you've got something you want to talk, we can talk. So, like I said, we'll get started. So tonight we're talking about understanding your purpose, your core why. Why am I here, right? Aberdeen, 20 years now, Rapid City. Oh, I just moved from Rapid City. I lived in Box Elder for many years, and then I lived in Rapid City up until end of October last year. I moved to California to be with somebody, not my somebody, so I ended up being homeless, so I'm back in Iowa at my brother's. But my kids are all in Rapid City, all but one. One's in Nebraska. So, yeah. Well, shoot, we'll have to make connections sometime. Okay, so understanding your purpose, your core why. Why am I here? I can tell you my entire married life. Oh, I need this. I lost my purpose March of 2025. Well, I'm glad that you're here then. Good. We'll have to make connections at some point. Because here's the thing, my whole life, there would be nights I would cry myself to sleep. And my husband would be like, what is wrong with you, right? Like, I should have been fulfilled, right? I was a mother of 3. I had a husband, things were good. Life was good, and I just never quite, I always felt like something was missing, right? And my husband would be like, why are you upset? What is the matter with you? And I'm like, I don't know. I knew that I had a calling, but I didn't know what that was, right? I could feel it in my bones that I had a higher purpose, but I just wasn't sure what that was. And until I lost my husband in September of 2023. And that's when, like I said, then my guides, led me to my purpose. So in order to heal I went through with my husband, I started to deep dive into meditation and journaling, if you're not familiar with my story. And the first message I ever got in meditation was, what heals you will heal others. And so they led me to be online. And so I get on and I tell my story and I try to help people as best I can through my experiences and my story. So that's kind of how I got led to my purpose. So finding meaning and direction in your life, right? Proactively pursuing personal growth, making meaningful contributions to the world. Let's see. Setting goals and pursuing them, right? I know how to do goals and setting goals and all of that because I did Mary Kay for 12 years. And so we worked on that a lot. So, and it's crazy because for the last 2 years, my guides have been telling me, Renee, everything you did in your life had meaning. Everything. Every job you worked, everything that you experienced has meaning in this life. And one day we'll explain to you why. And one morning I was woken up at 2 a.m. and I woke up and I thought, okay, I must have a message I'm supposed to put out. Because if you're not familiar, my guides give me messages for the collective almost every day, not every day, but almost every day, and sometimes multiple times a day. And so I thought, okay, what's the message? And I kind of just laid there. I didn't get a message and I didn't get a message. And I'm like, okay, my alarm's going to go off in like 3.5 hours. If you're not going to give me a message, I'm going to go back to sleep. And so I decided I was just going to go back to sleep. And I laid down, I put my head down on the pillow. And if you're not aware and you're new here, first of all, tell me who you are, where you're from. But if you're not aware, I've also had visions of my future since my husband's passed. Hey, Abbott, how are you? Welcome. Glad to see you tonight. And so I've had visions of my future. They don't give you everything. You're not meant to know everything. Aw, thank you for the heart. I appreciate that so much. If you guys can just keep tapping that screen too, those hearts really do help me. I've been seeing 11 in the minute, hour, 80% of every time I look at the clock. Okay, so are you Googling that? What are you thinking about at that moment, right? Stop and realize what you're thinking about at that moment and Google, what does the angel number 11 mean? And there should be a meaning there for you. And so, okay, so where was I? That's okay. Let's see. Where was I? It's okay. I just lose my train of thought so easy. Not a big deal. Let's see. My purpose. I forgot where. Oh, goals. Thank you. And so, I was kind of squirreling on that anyways. Oh, that's where I was. So I've had visions of where I'm going a little bit. And so when I laid my head on the pillow that night, I could see one of those visions that they had given me before, which I don't normally like to talk about, but I will for this tonight. I'll let you know. So I'm standing in a huge arena with lots of people, and I'm talking to a huge arena of people, right? And this time I could hear what I was saying. This is the second time I've had this happen to me. So not only could I see myself there, I could hear what I was saying. And I was like, oh crap, maybe I should write this down. And so I got up and I got my notebook and I started writing down all of the stuff that I was saying. And I got 15, 16 pages. And I wrote until basically my alarm almost went off. But at the very end of that, my guides finally started to tell me, this is why you did this. This is why you had this job. because this is what you learned at that job. This is what you learned at that job. When you had this experience in your life, this is what you learned. So I had all of these epiphanies after that, right? And so I kind of squirreled there, sorry. But that's why I did Mary Kay, is because I had learned how to set goals. And I learned so many valuable things when I did Mary Kay, besides learning how to set goals. But that was one of the big ones, was learning how to set goals and how to pursue that, right? So having a sense of direction and actively working towards things that matter to you, right? And this is one of the reasons why my guide gives me topics like this to go on and talk about, because she's huge into, why are you here? Why are you here? Are you here to work a 9 to 5 and be miserable and worry about what other people think and try to keep up with the Joneses and live in the box that the world tells you to live in? Or are you here for a purpose, to learn something, to help someone, right? We get one go around in this lifetime, right? So why not live it on your terms, how you want to live it? Be excited to be able to hop out of your bed every day. I love my purpose. I love helping people. I love getting out of bed every day and helping people. That's my purpose now. That's what I do, right? So what is it that you love? What matters to you? Whether it's, if I could talk, personal or professional or community oriented, right? Making intentional choices. Living with a purpose involves being mindful of your choices. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. It's really hard to focus while in such deep grief. So imagine where I was coming from, because I was in such deep grief from losing my husband and learning my purpose all at the same time. But here's the thing, is by learning my purpose and working through that grief, for me working through it was, okay, they're telling me, okay, you're going to get online and you're going to help people and you're going to tell your story, right? And I've said this many a times I would sit with my bestie and I would cry and I would say, I feel like a fraud. I feel like an imposter because my life was a hot mess, and my guides are telling me you're going to help people. And I'm like, how am I going to help people when I can't even help myself? Right? But here's the thing, is by working towards my purpose and helping other people, it was helping me. And they knew that. I just didn't know that, right? For every night that I got on and I talked about my grief and I talked about my husband and I talked about my story, that was helping me through my grief, right? So maybe what you need to figure out is, what is your purpose? What are you doing here? And maybe that can help you, and I always tell people, I'm very helping people oriented. So how can you step out and help somebody else that could maybe be helping you? Maybe start a grief group of people who have lost somebody that have lost somebody. Open up your home or, go to the library, whatever it is, right? Maybe start a grief group where when other people are talking about their grief, you can also share yours, but when they're talking about their grief, it's also helping you. Their story is helping you. Do you know what I'm saying? So in the process of helping others, maybe you're helping yourself, and gives you an outlet. One, other people to talk to. And then also you're helping all those other people because you're giving them an outlet, a place to talk, right? And work through their grief. So there's all kinds of ways. This is what I call thinking outside of the box, right? Hard to find child loss groups. I love it when people say it's hard to find stuff like that. And let me explain why. Because maybe this is your purpose. There aren't any out there. Then maybe that's your sign that you're meant to start that, right? Here's the thing. I love this because I tell people this all the time. Because maybe something isn't available, change starts with us, right? So maybe other people are thinking the same thing as you. It's hard to find those groups, but they're not brave enough to start the group. So maybe if you're brave enough to start the group, then like I said, you're helping them and you're helping yourself at the same time. So change starts with us, guys, right? I seriously said, right, December 2023, I distinctively remember telling my guide, who's going to want to listen to my story? Why would I be relevant? I'm just a girl from a small town in Iowa. Why would my story be relevant? And I don't say this to brag. I say this, I have 20,000 followers now across all of my platforms. And like I said, I don't say that to brag. I say that because I never imagined in a million years that one person would follow me or care about my story, right? And so that's the thing. Even if you start a support group and you only find one mom or one dad who's struggling, that's where change starts, right? And you can be that change. Like I said, if you don't want to open up your home, find a library, find a community center, whatever, right? I started a coupon club years ago, and we would go to Borders, right? They had like a little coffee area, and just put it out there, right? I know that there's a lot of places where you could, put out a flyer and say, hey, look, I'm starting this group for parents who are struggling with loss from their children, and if you get something started and you tell me where you're at and what you're doing. No. Why? Let me ask you this. Why would you need a certified counselor? Not saying you couldn't. Hold on. Itchy back. Not saying you couldn't, but why do you need a certified counselor to get a group of parents together to just talk about their grief? You don't. You don't. Who knows the grief of a child more than the parent? Right? Just like, people say, I don't know what I'm talking about. Really? I've lived 3 years with the loss of a husband who checked out on me after 32 years. I think I know quite a bit, right? So, I had a lady hop on here one night and nothing against her or her degree or all of her years of experience. And she's like, well, she's a counselor, and she turned her nose up at me. And that's fine. What other people think of me is none of my business. But my point is that who better to talk to people than somebody who's been through it, right? You don't have to have a degree or a counselor there to go have coffee or juice or a smoothie, whatever, right? To just get together and talk about your grief. Because maybe one thing that you do different than another parent would help them, right? Maybe how you're dealing with it, whether it be, let's just throw this out there. Maybe you journal, right? A lot of people maybe don't do that or think to do that. Or you meditate, or you take hikes, or you exercise, whatever it is, right? But maybe you get together with, like I said, even if it's just one parent, that's one life that you're giving them an outlet that could, one, potentially save them, right? And, talk about, hey, I journal. And maybe they're like, well, hey, I never thought of that. That gives them another outlet, right? So, and I will say this every night of the week that I'm on here. Change starts with you, me, right? Think of all of the groups in the world, all of the grief groups and all of that. It started with one person who said, I think I'll start this group, right? Anyway, I won't keep harping on that, but if it's not available, then make it available. That's my philosophy. And we're going to get into that a little further down the road too. Okay, living with purpose. Hopefully I won't be repeating myself. You're so very welcome. Did you tell me your name? Is it Joe? Living with purpose involves being mindful of your choices and aligning them with your values and goals, right? Joanne. Because I knew you were here before, right? And here's another thing, Joanne, what just made me think of it when I read that sentence is When you start the group, you decide what core values and goals you want in that group, right? You decide. You get to decide that because you started it, right? Just throwing that out there. So the how. Why my strengths, my talents, right? Just like I said in December of 2023. Why me? Why my strengths? Why my talents, right? But my guides knew something that I didn't know, right? Just like I have faith in you, Joanne. I don't even know you, but I bet you would be amazing. I bet you would. Having resilience. And this one's kind of thrown in there. It could probably go at the end, but I threw this in there. Having resilience when facing setbacks. Okay? So here's the thing. I've had lots of setbacks since my husband left, right? Lots of setbacks. I lost my car. I lost my camper. I lost my entire world. I lost so many things. I could just go on for about 10 minutes, right? All of these things that I lost. But I was resilient. So, learning how to turn suffering into meaningful growth, right? Just like my guides. I thank God for them every day, right? I'm so grateful for my guides every day. I'm grateful for, I don't like to call you guys my followers. I'm grateful for my social media family because you guys played a huge role in my growth too, right? And so finding a way to take something that was tragic, like the loss of your child, and turning it into something meaningful, starting that group, helping another mother, helping another father, and then maybe eventually down the road, helping another one and another one and another one and another one. I am almost 51. I'll be 52 in November, Scorpio. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. Okay, so finding a meaningful way. So another story of me being resilient. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm in my brother's basement. Like I said, I moved to California not knowing what was going to happen. It didn't work out. And I'm just going with the flow. My guides are like, you got to go back to Iowa. You got to deal with your PTSD. This is the last of my growth. I came back here. You know, I'm technically homeless. My brother's letting me live in his basement, right? Being resilient. You know, things don't go my way every day, right? Sometimes my basement floods. I have to deal with that. But every day I do it with a smile, even when my kitchen floods. You know why? Because I'm grateful. And that we're going to get to that. It's way down here. I'm going to hop ahead a little bit. But being grateful and showing gratitude. Every time we're grateful and we put something out into the universe, it comes back, guys. It comes back. So every day that I'm mopping up my kitchen because, you know, we've had too much rain and my basement's flooding, I'm still so extremely grateful that I have a roof over my head and I just smile right through it, right? Because what's the alternative, right? I can be grumpy and angry that I'm living in this basement where it's, you know, flooding sometimes, but I don't. I'm grateful. I show gratitude that I have a roof over my head and a place to lay my head down at night, right? So, being resilient. You have to be resilient. And yes, Jessica, you are resilient or you wouldn't still be here. Just saying. Okay. And also, I'm learning that I'm being put here because I'm kind of in a timeout right now, right? I'm in a timeout and I'm working on my future goals, my future dreams. I'm almost done with my book. Being here has allowed me to be able to work on my book. I have about 20 pages left. My goal is to have it done by the end of this week, so that way I can get it published next month. You know, I'm working on my course. My guides give me my next step. If you don't know, I literally I live in pure faith of my guides and my purpose at this point. I've learned not to go against it or to push against it or play that tug of war because it doesn't work anyway. And so I live in complete faith of every step that they give me. And that's the thing. I live my life step by step, literally. Like I said, my step was to come back here and work through my PTSD. I did that. I apologize. My next step is to get my group readings going, right? Guys, I booked my first event. My friend from high school, she has massage therapy. She does Reiki and sound bowl healing and all of that good stuff. She invited me to come into her space to do my first ever paid group reading. I did one with my cousin, and this is going to be my first paid group reading. I booked my 10th and final person, guys, tonight. She literally posted the event on her page the night before last for August 6th. It hasn't even been 3 full days, and I've already booked my 10th slot. I'm full. I'm booked up for August 6th. I am so excited. Oh my God, I just got chills. So, know that things are possible. Good things come when you put good things out, right? So being resilient, sticking to those goals and dreams. Sorry. No, Bentley. I blocked my door. I need to get a latch to keep him out. Lay down. Okay. All right. Where did I leave off? A fun fact. I had a fun fact for tonight. Did you know studies link a strong sense of purpose increases your life's longevity? Did you know that? Thank you guys. I appreciate that so much. I'm so excited. I'm nervous, but I'm so excited at the same time. One, because I'm stepping forward in that next step. And I know once I start that next step, then my guides will give me the next step, which is hopefully out of this basement. But if it's not, then we just be grateful and we just keep going until it is. Okay, so that was my fun little fact. Contributing to something larger than yourself. Right, Jolene? Joanne, not Jolene. I apologize, Joanne. I knew it once I said it. Contributing to something bigger than you. Helping somebody else, right? Maybe you can help somebody else. If you can start a group, or you know what I'm saying? Making that positive impact. Because one thing I can tell you, like I said from firsthand experience, making that positive impact for myself or for others has helped myself, right? I say all the time, these topics are something that I've either went through, had to learn, or I'm going through right now. Now, my journey's going into almost 3 years, so most of it's stuff that I've already, that I've learned. Sometimes I need a refresher, and sometimes I need a smack across the head going, remember, right? So nothing I share on here isn't something that I haven't already walked through. Nothing. So have you ever had that call? If I can talk, have you ever felt that call to help others? Right? If not, this is your call to action. Have you ever had that call to help others? If so, what is holding you back? Yes? Okay. So what is holding you back? That's your question for tonight. Once you figure out what's holding you back, what are your goals? Right? Do you know how to pursue them? If not, I'm a great goal setter. I used to do training in Mary Kay all the time with my group. My director would have me come in and do goal setting because I was like a huge goal setter person. So if you need help, DM me. I'll help you. In essence, living with purpose is about being the author of your own life, not the spectator, right? So if there is no group, start one. Be the author of your story. Don't be the spectator waiting for somebody else to start it for you, right? Are you being a spectator? If so, how can you change it? How can you change it? If you're not sure, get with me. We'll talk about it. I'm helping you now? Well, good, Richard. I hope so. That's the whole point. I hope so. Good. I'm glad, guys. Okay. Let's see. Where did I leave off? It's about consciously choosing. See, this is the thing, right? If you're familiar and you've been here before I close every single night, what do I say? Make tomorrow great. Because it's a choice. right? We choose. We have that choice whether to be happy. We have that choice whether to, if we're not happy, to change it. We are the author of our story. And if you're not, become it. You are the author of your life. Okay? So it's about consciously choosing to live in a way that aligns with what you believe and is important and makes your life meaningful. So if you don't have meaning in your life, you're the author. You're the only one that can change it. You're the only one that can rewrite it. You, little you, are the only one that can change your story. Starts by not caring about with what others think, right? I say this all the time. What others think and say about me are none of my opinion. It's none of my business. Their opinions of me is none of my business. Sorry, I got ahead of myself there. Living outside the box we are put in, right? Like I said, the world puts us in a box. Maybe, my whole life, you got to live in the same house for 30 years and drive the same car and do the same routine every day for the rest of your life till you die. I hate that. I must have been a gypsy in another life. I love living in different places. I love moving to different places. It does not scare me at all. I love change. I love living somewhere else and discovering new places and everything that comes with that. I love that. I had to have been a gypsy in another life. That's what I told my mom the other day. I'm like, I had to have been a gypsy. Living outside the box. Some people live the van life, right? Some people live in an RV and travel. Some people, whatever it is, right? Stop living in the box that they put you in. If you're not happy there, figure out where you will be happy and change it. You, again, what I just say, are the author of your own story. You decide. You write your life. You are the one that writes the script to your life, to your play that we're in. We're all in a play of our life. You write the script, right? So, step outside the box. I always tell everybody, not only erase the box, just get rid of the box, right? If you're not sure how to do that, like me, okay, I'm not sure how I'm going to get out of this basement. My mind's constantly thinking outside of the box, different ways that I can, where I'm going and how I'm going to do this and how I'm going to get to this goal and do that. I think outside the box all the time, right? And I always say that it has to do with my entire married life, right? Plan A, B, C never worked. So I always had to go to plan D, E, E, all the way through the alphabet sometimes, right? Thinking outside the box. Okay, not being afraid to step out of the comfort zone. That's hard, right? When we have the ego, which is the left side of our brain, telling us, oh, you'll never make it. You're not worthy. You can't do that. You're not smart enough. God knows the list goes on and 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 on. The never-ending story, right, of our ego telling us what we can't do, right? But there again, I have a bug in here. I apologize. You are the author of your story. So stop letting the ego dictate what you can't do. You are worthy. You are amazing. You can do it. You are smart enough. You can do anything that you put your mind to. Right? My grandma always said, where there's a will, there's a way. So be that person that finds the way, right? You're welcome, Jessica. Okay, so don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone. I love stepping out of my comfort zone. Now I'm like, what's the comfort zone? Thanks for the heartbeat, Daniel. I appreciate that. I don't have a comfort zone anymore. Sorry, guys. Hot flash. Part of getting old. So stepping into faith. Right? Like I said, I live my life completely in faith at this point. If my guides say, this is the step I make, this is the step I make, right? I just do it. They told me my next step is my group readings. So I'm doing my group readings. And when I get to that step, then they'll give me my next step. And I know it's hard for people to live that way because the world teaches us that we have to control everything, right? Control where we live and control how much money we make and control and control and control and control. And that's the logical mind, which is the ego, the left side of our brain, always telling us we have to control every aspect of our life. sometimes it's okay to just take a step back and go, you know what? Nope. I'm going to just go with faith of where I'm going to go. And I just live that way. And I know it's hard for people to understand, and it was hard for me to understand. I am an A personality, man. I like control. I like to know exactly what I'm doing, when I'm doing it, when I'm not doing it. And now I have no control over any of it. And like I said, I just stopped playing that tug of war with my guides because it was fruitless anyway. So thank you for those, Daniel. I appreciate that so much. So don't be afraid to step out of the comfort zone. Even if you just take baby steps, right? That doesn't mean you have to leap out of your comfort zone. Baby steps, right? Step into faith. And here's the thing, you have to do it scared. If it does not scare you, or you don't have a little bit of fear, then you're not stepping out of your comfort zone. I'll let you know that right now. You're not stepping out. For me, right? Like I said, I just booked. Daniel, I haven't had a chance to tell you, I got number 10. My 10th person scheduled for my group reading on the 6th. So I'm full. I'm booked. Does that mean I'm not scared? No. I would be lying if I said I wasn't scared. You know? But I also walk in faith that it's going to be okay, right? I know it's going to be okay because I have my whole spirit team behind me. You have your whole spirit team behind you. I have my ancestors behind me. And I'm confident in my abilities, right? I know now, after 2.5 years, I am a good medium. I know, how do I want to say this? I don't want to say I know what I know, but I have learned to listen to myself. I've learned to listen to my abilities. And so I'm a good medium, and I know that I do help people. And so, am I scared? Heck yes. But you know what? I know that I'm gonna knock it out of the park too, because that's the having faith part, right? Okay, so when I got on my lives the first time in July of 2024, and my guide said, Renee, you're gonna start doing lives on TikTok. Was I a little bit nervous? Am I nervous every night I still get on here? Heck yes, right? I don't know if I'm gonna flubber up because sometimes I can't talk, right? You get me who I am, right? Dirty hair, don't care. Sometimes I can't talk, right? But I'm just me, right? I'm just here doing what I am supposed to do, trying to help people. So sometimes that means dirty hair, don't care. That means I can't talk. Sometimes it means that I can't read. It is what it is, but I'm being authentically me, right? So be authentically you and step out of your comfort zone. I promise you, you won't regret it. All right, let's see. What do we got? What are ways you can cultivate? I think I froze. Did I freeze? What are a way to cultivate more purposeful life? See, I can't talk ever. 1, recognizing your strengths. What do you enjoy? What are you good at? Right? What are your strengths? We don't look at that. Why? Because the ego likes to tell us again, we're not worthy, we're not smart, we can't do it, blah, 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 blah. And the list goes on and on and on and on, the never-ending story of the ego telling you why you can't do something. Learn to tell the ego to shut up, right? That's what you got to do. Shut up. So recognize what your strengths are. What are they? What do you enjoy to do? What would you hop out of bed every day to do that you just love to do? And do that. Following your passions, engaging in them. There again, what is your passion, right? Is your passion speaking? Is your passion painting? Is your passion whatever it is, right? Find that passion and go for it. Step out of that comfort zone. Follow your passion. Is it helping others? Is it contributing to society in some way, right? Like Joanne and I were talking earlier about, if there's not a group for parents with loss, then start one, right? Make that your passion. Change starts with us, guys. Us. Little old us. Me. Myself and I. Like I said, somebody started that group. If they hadn't started, a group or started this or did this, right? It starts always with you. So, what is your passion? Number 4, the biggest one. I say this is the biggest one. Gratitude. Always being grateful, right? Grateful for what you have. Like I said, do I have setbacks when I'm in this basement? Heck yeah, right? But I handle those setbacks the best I can with a smile on my face, because here's the thing. Like I said, what you put out returns to you. It comes back. So every day, I get up, I try to sit and I make a gratitude list. What am I grateful for? And yes, I'm going to be honest. If you're out there and you're struggling, yes, sometimes it's hard to do those gratitude lists. When my husband first passed, I had lots of things to be grateful about, but I couldn't see them, right? I was in that where I couldn't see it. Sorry, itchy back. I couldn't see it. I had my kids, I had my grandkids, I still had my apartment, I had my fur babies. I had lots of things to be grateful for. And when I started doing my gratitude list, I wrote down, even if it was just the tiniest thing, right? I was grateful for my bestie, grateful that I had somebody to talk to. I was grateful for the bowling alley where I would go to dance. Find, even if it's the smallest thing, be grateful. Gratitude list. I'm telling you guys, gratitude list will take you a long ways. Focusing on the good and not the bad, right? You can sit here every day. There's always going to be something bad that you can focus on. There again, right? Maybe I'm technologically challenged, and I could sit here and I could go, well, there's so many other things I could be doing with my social media, but I'm technologically challenged. But I don't focus on that. I focus on what I am good at, what I can do, and then I slowly take steps to learn those things that I'm not good at, right? So focus on the good. When you focus on the good, more good comes. You focus on the bad, that's when bad comes. So focus on the good. And like I said, sometimes that's hard. Things we take for granted. That was one of the things that I never realized in my life with my husband. I mean, maybe I did a little bit, but after I lost my husband, it was like just the little things that I took for granted. Having a car to just go to the grocery store. I didn't have that for almost a year, right? Having to rely on somebody to take me to the grocery store. I lost a whole bunch of weight because I couldn't eat when I lost my husband. I had 3 pairs of black pants with a drawstring, 3 pairs of gray ones with the drawstring, thank God, and elastic. And so I started working. I had to have black pants. So I had the black pants and I had to pull them tight because that's all I had. I didn't have the funds to go get black pants to go to work. I had a pair of black shoes that I had from a previous job that I worked. They weren't great. They were falling apart, but they worked, right? I had an insole on another pair of shoes, so I put them in there to make them a little bit more comfortable. And I wore them until they literally fell apart, But here's the thing, is I made work with what I had, and I didn't realize at the time all of the little things that I took for granted. I didn't have a pair of jeans. I did not have one pair of jeans to wear because I had lost all this weight. And so, so be grateful for even the littlest things that you have, right down to food in your belly, because there was weeks I struggled. I was eating refried beans, black beans, and stuff that I got from Church Response that was helping me in a food bag. I'm not embarrassed to admit that. We all need help sometimes. And so, but I was struggling. But you know what? I was grateful for those beans because, I still had something to eat. There's a lot of people out there that have it worse. One night I was down on myself and I was having a pity party for myself, and one of you guys reached out to me and was like, hey, can I just talk to you? And I talked to him on the phone, and I didn't realize until I talked to him on the phone, he was homeless, guys. It made my pity party not feel so bad, right? Yeah, maybe I didn't have all these things and I, didn't have the funds to get them at the moment, but suddenly my life didn't seem so bad. He didn't even have a roof over his head. Even though I was struggling to keep the roof over my head, he didn't even have that. He had a tent. So be grateful, even the little things. Let's see. Be present. That was something that I still struggle with that sometimes. My guides had to slap me upside the head a couple times to get be present. Because it's hard when you lose 32 years to want to go back to that, even though there's nothing to go back to, right? There was nothing for me there. That was gone. That was a door that was shut, a chapter. Thank you for that, Daniel. I appreciate that. So learning to be present, right? Not worrying about, what's going to happen next week. How am I going to pay this? How am I going to pay that? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? You know what? As my mom and my grandma always said, you'll cross that bridge when you get there, right? If you don't know how you're going to pay your bills on Monday, well, sometimes you got to wait till Monday to cross that bridge. It's just, that's how life is. But learning to be resilient, and you'll figure it out. If you really want to figure it out, right? Find a way, make a way. So where was I at? I lost my spot. Sorry. Being present. So being present in the moment, focusing on right here, right now, because this is truly all we truly have, right? The past is gone. Tomorrow's not here yet. Tomorrow ain't even promised. You might not even wake up tomorrow. You don't know, So today, be present today. What do you got right here, right now? Be grateful, figure out, what makes you happy. And that's what you got today, in the present. Be true to who you are, right? The old me wouldn't sit here with dirty hair, no makeup on, whatever. I wouldn't be true to who I am, because the old me cared about what other people thought of me. There again, what other people think of me is none of my business. It's none of my business. It's none of your business. What people think and say about you, it's none of your business. So be true to who you are, because that's the whole point of being here. It's just being you, right? And if people aren't okay with you, and you're too much for those people, then they're not your people. Simple as that. My whole life I thought I was broken because, I was told I was too much. I talked too much, or I love too much, or whatever it was, right? Then those aren't your people. Find new people. Let's see. One of the things when I first discovered that I had abilities, I have to admit, that was still the old me a little bit. And I was hesitant to get online and talk about being a psychic medium because, well, what would people think and say and judge and all of that? But in these 3 years, I've been prepared for that now. And now I don't care. I don't care. My give a crap button broke a long time ago. So don't care. Stop caring. So embracing change. I think we talked about that a little bit. Stepping out of that comfort zone, getting rid of the box that the world puts us in. You don't have to be in that box just because I tell you. So embrace change. Let's see. My whole life changed, right? My husband left. My whole world changed. It crumbled. So I had no choice but to embrace change. Sometimes we get, the divine, God, universe, whatever it is you say or believe, will shove you into that change that maybe you're not making, right? Maybe you're not stepping out of that comfort zone that you need to step out of. And so sometimes they'll just give you a good shove, right? I got a great shove, So, but embracing it, because what's the alternative? What's the alternative, right? Embracing the change or being miserable? You decide. Number 8, cultivate positive emotions, right? I try to be positive. Am I positive all the time? You need a shove, Jessica? Well, come on over. I'll shove you. Cultivating positive emotions, right? Am I positive 100% of the time, every single day? No, none of us are. And if I sat here and said I did, I would be lying. I totally would be lying. We're not all positive all the time. That's life, right? But learning, and we've talked about this, learning that our emotions do not control us, or they shouldn't, right? So if you're getting up today and you had a bad morning, or you had what I call a speed bump in your day, right, where something went wrong, and you're letting that speed bump control your whole day, you got to figure some stuff out, right? Learning how to wrangle those emotions, because your emotions shouldn't control you. You should control them. Okay? Number 9. So we talked about this, right? So embracing your purpose, setting goals. So figuring out, okay, what is my purpose? Setting those goals. We already kind of talked about that a little bit. 10, seeking inspiration from others. I watch other mediums, right? Not to do it how they do it, but just to give me confidence. Well, if they can do it, I can do it, right? And realizing too, they're not all perfect. So, that's the thing. Stop setting that expectation of being perfect. We're not perfect, right? Do I look perfect sitting here? No, dirty hair, don't care, right? I stumble over my words. I don't have to be perfect to be here. I'm just here. I'm giving my time and I'm trying to help somebody and trying to be a better person than I was yesterday, right? So if you think you got to be perfect, throw that out the window with the box, okay? Aw, thank you. Appreciate that. And last but not least, be patient with yourself. And that's hard, being patient. I'm not a patient person. Another reason, my guy's been slapping me upside the head for 3 years, over 3 years now, probably closer to 5, trying to teach me patience, right? No, I am not perfect. I am far from perfect. I'll be the first person to admit that. I am perfectly imperfect. Let's put it that way. So yeah, give yourself grace, but be persistent, right? Just keep working at it. Be patient. Here's the thing. Here's one of the things that I've really learned in the last probably 5 years, right? When you ask God, universe, source, divine, whatever it is you say or believe, give me patience. They don't just give you patience, right? They give you experiences to make you patient, right? So, oh, I am to you. Okay, well, that's okay, I guess, but I am not. I am far from, nobody's perfect. Nobody. And if they tell you that they are, they're lying. So be persistent. Finding your purpose is an ongoing process. Know that. It's ongoing. It will be forever. It's ongoing. It's not about the destination in this life. It's about getting there, right? The destination ultimately is probably us checking out. It's about the journey and enjoying the journey. And I know sometimes it's hard. Trust me. I look back, a couple summers ago, I had no dryer. I was drying my clothes with a fan on a little clothes dryer in my bedroom at night, right? I would wash my clothes, hang them up, dry them, hang some in my bathroom, the main stuff that I had to have, like my uniform or whatever it was for work, right? I didn't have a fan. I have 3 pets. My vacuum broke. So I have no dryer, no fan, no vacuum, no car. My life looked a little bleak. Hardly any clothes to wear, right? But my point is that it's about being grateful in those moments, right? Figuring out it's okay to enjoy those moments. Finding a way to enjoy those moments somehow, because they're still part of your journey, right? They were part of my journey. They're part of who I am now, right? They made me who I am. So, which made me more resilient as a person, right? So, and then also, when those things do come to me, I'm going to be even more grateful, and I won't take them for granted. Like I maybe have did before when I had them before, right? Because you just take those things for granted. That you have a fan, that you have a car, that you have a ride, that you have food, you have a roof over your head. But now that's part of my journey. Now when I go into whatever that next chapter is and that new door opens and I have those things, maybe I'll be a little bit more grateful and not take them for granted. Tim. Whatever, Tim. That's my friend. I don't beat him. He wishes. All right, guys. That's all I have tonight. Does anybody have anything else they want to talk about? If you're not familiar, I also have a YouTube channel. You'll find all of my videos that I have here over there on YouTube, which is under Scorpio Medium. If you're not a subscriber, I would love it if you went over there and subscribed. But yes, All the videos you find here, you'll find over there. The only difference is that I do like to upload my lives over there. So if you do enjoy my content and you would like to check it out and you missed one, they're all over there. Scorpio Medium. You're welcome, Jessica. Big heart to you. Guys, I'm changing my schedule again. I'm just adding my day back. So I will be here Sunday through Wednesday. I'll be hopping on sometimes at lunchtime. There might be some weekend times I'll be hopping on, but Sunday through Wednesday, I will be here 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So that's when you will find me here. Wednesdays, mini read Wednesdays. Everybody loves Wednesdays, so we're leaving it on Wednesday. So if you would like a mini read, hop on Wednesdays. But if you would like a full reading, I do offer half an hour sessions and hour sessions one-on-one with me. And I'm also offering group readings. So if you would like to get together with a bunch of people and have a group reading, we can do that over Zoom if you're not in Iowa, which most people aren't, if you're smart. Did I say that out loud? Yeah, I did. Okay. Anyway, so one-on-one readings with me, you can find my email down in my bio. That's how I set those up. And last but not least, I also have a Venmo down there. So if you do enjoy my content and you would like to leave me a tip, which is never expected but always greatly appreciated, you can do that through the Venmo down below. After all of that, does anybody have anything else they want to add? If not, I hope you all have a great night. Remember, once again, make tomorrow great, because it's a choice. It's your choice. And on that note, I'll be back tomorrow night. Not sure what we're talking about yet, but I'll be back tomorrow night. Until we meet again.